Timestamp January 15th, 2025. It's a little after 9 p.m. My cat, so found an extra, old water bottle, had it on the floor in the kitchen, and Hex has decided that's the best thing ever. He's taking a break. Today was interesting. So, doing what my mom told me to do. She's been transported to rehab now. They've kicked her out of the hospital, and they're hoping she learns how to use the BiPAP and or starts deciding to actually get out of her wheelchair periodically. I don't think any of that's going to take. My cat's in a mood. I can hear him. I think he found a ball of paper or something. She once again said start pursuing stuff for Dad, because the dementia has gone far enough, you know. So we called the VA and said, hey, what's the next step? What should we do? Because we feel that he's been misdiagnosed, basically. He has pneumonia and he's been diagnosed with a cold. And haven't been able to reach him. The phones just aren't going through. They're doing the whole, right to voicemail. This phone can't take a call right now. But, my dad's really good at not using phones well. So I'm a little shallow of breath right now, but it's anxiety. It's not physical, So the VA said, look, we can't really do much unless we get him in here for a diagnosis, and we need to really assess what's going on. So call the sheriff's department, have him do a wellness check. It's innocent enough, and you can't get him on the phone anyway, and you're nervous about going by, so, we can see if they come up with anything interesting, and we'll go from there. So I called the sheriff's department. I said, haven't been able to get a hold of my dad. Mom's in the hospital. He doesn't know how to pay the bills. I wasn't certain as to whether or not, the lights were still on. Because my mom was saying she didn't have any of the checkbook or bills or anything like that to be able to do it, because that's what she was in the process of doing when she passed out. So, today was a shit show of a day. This was Monday, making phone calls and all. So, sheriff goes out, and we warned them. We're like, look, dementia, paranoia, gun in his front pocket. Not a toy gun, it's a .380, it's silver. They were like, okay, thanks for the warning on that, appreciate it. So we got a call back from the sheriff, the deputy, and he's like, he had the gun in his pocket, like you said. We got that away from him. We gave it back, but while we were talking, we gave it back. And he seems okay, he's definitely eaten, he's vertical, power's on. He pulled out his phone, said the phone was working fine. And I don't know if this was a good move or a bad move, but he said, your dad pulled out his phone, he had it on him, and he said it works fine. I'm like, okay, but he conned you. The man with dementia conned you right then and there, because I've called both lines and none of them are going through. And the cop was like, oh, okay, well, alright. Sorry. I guess he didn't like that too much, but anyway. I'm up to here. My bucket of F's is overflowing. I have, no more room for any of them in there. I'm trying to get people taken care of, and I'm meeting resistance at every turn, so it's good. It's good stuff. So, I don't know, 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes after I hang up with the sheriff, DCF, Department of Children and Families, Adult Care, Elder Care, calls me, just out of the blue. They're like, hey, we got a note from the sheriff, we've been talking to the VA, and we'd like to go over there and meet with him. Now, I don't know what was in the sheriff's report that made DCF go, we'll take that. I have no idea. But, so far we've talked with like 16 different deputies. I'm just going to leave that, blank. I'm going to call our caseworker Darla. Some good Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Little Rascals kind of thing going on there. It'll work. So Darla starts quizzing me on what's going on, and okay. I don't know if you could hear any of that. It was like drag racing with backfiring. I thought there was a very large angry wasp outside for a minute there. I mean, really big. It's still angry. I'm going to be making coffee here in a second, so I'm going to pause it to filter. But so the more I tell Darla, the more she's like, okay, I've done a lot of work with mental health cases, but I'm new with DCF. They've been mostly giving me the easy cases, kind of getting me in here, and this sounds pretty complicated. And I told her, I'm like, okay, well, what I want you to do is Google the word hazing, and then, tell me what your thoughts are. She laughed, which was the intention. I'm trying to keep it light, keep it fun. And she says, can I call you back? I'm gonna get with my supervisor and see what she thinks about this. I'm like, we've taken the week off. You do what you need to. It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna make coffee. You won't even notice I'm gone. Okay, so Darla, So Darla calls me back 5 minutes later, having briefed her supervisor, and says, okay, my supervisor is going to meet us there. We're going to be there tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We're going to get a couple of deputies there because you said he has a gun on him and there's a possibility of more guns. I'm like, to the best of my knowledge, he's got at least 30. She was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's more guns. I'm like, yeah, that would that would be more. So I'm like, okay, do I have to go in with you? Because this is already awkward. I know he would probably not mind shooting my wife so much. But I'm trying to stay off that list, even though, I have committed breaking and entering and grand larceny at least twice that I can recall. In his mind. Let's make sure we're all on the same page here. Yeah, nobody in my house has broken into their house and taken anything. No Mickey Mouse watches, no pipe cutters. Those are real things that supposedly got stolen. Those were both by my boys. Big Santa Claus type sack full of Dr. Pepper. Also one of my kids. Kelly and I mostly stick to the big stuff. We've stolen computer monitors, giant cheese boards. Not kidding. These are like Renfest, like 2.5 foot long cheese boards that are treasures of my mom because she hosts royal banquets so frequently. But she has 2 of them still in the box. That's how much she loves them. She uses them all the never. And Kelly and I absconded with them because there's a really big cheese board black market. Most people don't know that. You're getting it first. And then, cash, jewels, and gold, that's really our priority. So anyway, so we get there, and I'm kind of hanging out at their car. I brief the two out of the way, Peck. They ask me questions again, kind of rebriefing to make sure we're all on the same page. And the two deputies show up, and they're pleasant, even though they know, hey, we're going into the house of a crazy man. It's good. Everything's fine. So they go in, I guess, talk to him at the door. One of the deputies, probably about 2 minutes after their talk, Kelly's like at a distance in the car, and I've got my headset so that I keep telling her, please mute, because she keeps unmuting to tell me something and then leaves it on, and there's background noise, and it's really distracting when it's right in your ear. But I've got my headset on, and you can hear really well, like atmospherically with it. So I'm letting her kind of listen in on whatnot in case she needs to call for more backup, because my dad has at least 30 guns. Who knows what could happen? The deputy crosses their lawns heading towards his parked Blazer, and he looks at me, and I can tell he's got something in his left hand. I'm pretty sure it's a gun because I see a little gleam of silver, and he just looks over at me and goes, I was like, okay, cool, you got the one gun away from him. And back in my mind, I'm like, okay, that's the one that's on him. What about the other 29? Because I think about these things. And the supervisor, because I can see her near the porch door, she's like, I'm like, no, I don't want to go in here. Because then it's all my fault. And I go in their house, and seriously, dude. Stay in the background, you don't have any lines. So, it's exactly what I expect. There's clutter. We're cluttered. This is terrifying. He's got it probably set, the house set at like 105 degrees. And I know he's on Eliquis, I guess, which is a blood thinner. And his solution to that is not putting on a sweater or a jacket or something like that, but is to make the house like a furnace. Because, that's how you make company happy. Back when there were occasionally people coming over to the house, can't tell you how many people would come in, they'd be like, it's kind of warm in here, isn't it? It's like, kind of. You're being nice. Don't touch that. I want it where it is. Okay, Dad. But yeah, it is exactly the shit show that I was expecting. Literally, to a degree, because there are some puppy pads on the ground. They've got a couple of, I think they're Chiweenies. They're cute. They're like little long Wookiees. Very shaggy. Very shaggy. Almost remind me of like Pekingese with the facial. Anyway. And he's got one of them that he's carrying. It's the older one likes to be carried, and the other one's walking around and sniffing everyone curiously. There's a couple used puppy pads. I almost said poopy pads. Yeah, that's part of it. And my dad pretty much does like microwave dinners. It's like, he likes Stouffer's. He went into a big rant about Stouffer's. The DCF women were like, Okay, that's nice. Um, but there were like 8, maybe 10 of those containers from when he had his meal, plastic container. And there was like hot dog scraps and whatnot, because apparently these dogs won't eat kibble. They will only eat like hot dogs and things. My thought is, if you put the food in the bowl, they'll probably eat it. They probably will. Even if they're really, really spoiled, because kibble's designed to be yummy for pups. They're, I don't know, it's really noisy in this neighborhood tonight. Holy cats. It's not normally like this. It's not even like midnight yet. But yeah, I've had finicky, dogs, and if you put kibble in the bowl, at least my experience, they may look at you like, hey, you're a jerk, where's the good stuff? But eventually they're gonna be like, okay. And I mean, don't get me wrong, our pups get kibble, they also get wet food, and they get some table scrap and some, not necessarily farmer's dog, but when I make eggs in the morning, Acorn gets very cranky if I don't give him a little bit. I have, to my detriment, trained him on that so far. If he smells the eggs going, he starts getting agitated. He gets cranky when he has to wait. And I understand pampering your pups, because I'm very pro that way. But yeah, no, there was like 2 entire packs of hot dogs worth among these 8 to 10. It's like, you know what? At a certain point, they may have spoiled, because to me it would look like 4 or 5 days worth. At a certain point, it may have spoiled. Throw it away, and if you recycle the container, which they never recycle, if you don't, great. Put the container in the trash or put it in the sink if you're going to be using it in house as a means of like reusing. Because some of those you can sustain use them as like seed starters and stuff like that. But all 10 of them on the ground with debris in each one is like, you're not trying. Dining room table full of paper and stuff. I understand why Chuck wasn't able to find anything useful for my mom, but put a pin in that. And they interview him, they ask him questions, like who's the current president? Trump. Okay, who was president before that? Trump. Well, there's about to be a new president. Do you know who that is? Trump. Kind of broken clock here. All right. And I think he knew the month, but not the year. And he got like 7 out of 10 of the basics down, which, according to them, was like, he's still here enough to be considered manageable. But it gets better. So, but wait, there's more. So, such a shit show. So I'm like, Dad, Mom needs her keys, her purse. She needs something to work with, or you're going to be in the dark here real soon. And he's like, oh, Sandy usually takes care of the bills. I'm like, right, that's the point of what I'm getting at. She needs that stuff to be able to actually do it. And according to what Chuck said, you hid it. Well, yeah, people keep getting, and they take stuff, and they get in here, and, displaying some of the crazy for everyone to see, which is good. And it was heartbreaking, because, boy, is my dad broken. So the supervisor's like, well, can he go look in the bedroom? Because he said sometimes stuff gets put in the bedroom. And Dad was just like, mm-hmm. And I went, and one of the deputies followed me, the same one that gave me the thumbs up earlier. He followed me and was kind of watching me from the doorway, which, okay, I'm not here to steal, whatever. And I look in all the old familiar places, nothing useful. And something kind of caught my attention. It was something like the place where my mom would would sleep in bed. If she slept in bed anymore, she apparently sleeps in a chair in the living room because she can't breathe, because she's overweight and it's too much pressure on the lungs. Um, so where she would normally sleep, there was a pillow, like you normally have, and there was a towel kind of draped over it and extending below it to where like the neck and shoulders would be, and it looked lumpy, so that caught my curiosity. And I walked over to that side of the bed and I kind of looked at the deputy because I'm like, I said, I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm going to use 2 fingers. And he kind of smirked like, come on. But I picked up the towel and peeled it back. And I'm glad I did. And I'm also horrified by it because there were probably like, just eyeballing it, 8 handguns. 8 handguns just like piled on top of each other under the pillow and the towel. And the cop in the doorway was like, okay. And there were a couple on the night. There were like 2 or 3 on the nightstand next to the bed too. I was like, that seems excessive. And rifle right under the bed and in the corner. And the cops, I can see he's trained for this sort of thing. He's, noticing that and that. He's scoping the place. There's 12, 15 guns right there, which we're gun owners, by the way. We're liberals, but we're gun owners. I don't personally see the need to have 10 guns per person in the household. And also, as an additional, if I had dementia, I think I should be in charge of 0 guns. Kind of like if you fail a driver's test, they take your driver's license away. I think once you get past a certain point and those kind of things start happening, you can't have bang-bangs anymore. It's just too risky. There's too big a possibility that something could go horribly wrong. So that happened. And I mentioned it to Darla and her associate, and they were like, hey, Fred, is it okay if we take a look around? And the supervisor had already walked through the kitchen and seen the horror show that was going on in there. Dishes all over the counter, sink overflowing with dishes, garbage everywhere. It was just like, well, I was trying to make it clear that you weren't taking care of yourself real well. I didn't know that you were going to, make it so easy for me. Because you guys are normally really high at seeming normal. But it's on full display right now. So, yeah, they went into the bedroom and took a little walk around and looked around, and my dad proudly showed the deputy, I got guns in that safe over there, and I got a few rifles over here, and the deputy, bless him, was just like, oh, that's pretty cool, sir, that's nice, yeah. Okay, that's groovy, yeah. I can tell he's like patronizing, because my dad, maybe patronizing, maybe that's the word here, I don't know. But I think my dad thought he was impressing people, and they were unimpressed, and in fact growing more and more concerned, as I think anyone competent and sane should be. So he's given me, throughout this whole 2-hour, 4-hour, I don't know, I lost track of time, encounter, he's given me that, alright, mother, looked, like, I got cops in DC up in my house, and it's your fault, isn't it? And at some point he said something, about all these people being here, You understand what this is about? I'm like, look, mom's concerned about you. She's been in the hospital for a week and a half, and your phone's not working. He's like, it works fine. I whipped out my cell phone and I called the number, put on speaker. Darla's standing right next to me, and went right to the whole, we're sorry they can't take calls right now. And Darla was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Your phone's not working, sir. That's the number that should be making that phone ring over there, and it's not working. Huh? It works fine. It's like, yeah, that's not actually the reality that the rest of us are experiencing currently, but okay, sure. If you want to think so, that's fine. So followed them outside once our interview was over, and the supervisor was like, look, he's competent enough to where we're not just gonna like yank him and pull him out right now or whatnot. He is eating. He's got a stack of food in the freezer. So he had a medication issue, which was concerning. He has an AM and a PM box. You take these in the morning, you take these at night. And he's got at least 3 medications that are take once per day. There's a bottle of it in the AM, and there's a bottle of it in the PM. Same exact drug, once per day, and he's probably doing 2 doses of it. So that's concerning. And they did notate that, the idea of, okay, he's not really taking his meds correctly, if he's even taking them, because we can't confirm that. We just know, based on the layout that he says he's got going on, he's doing it wrong. So, yeah, I'm going really long here. I knew it was a long day. But, I'll probably do a part 2 tomorrow morning or something. Kind of catch my breath from the experiences of the day. But there was more. We checked in with my mom afterwards at the rehab. Talked to Darla again on the phone. Talked to his doctor on the phone. But wait, there's more. Yeah, there's a lot. But yeah, that was the first part of my day. Screaming into the void for like 2 years trying to help people, and yeah. It's frustrating. Sacrificed a lot, and when you need help this drastically. I'm gonna enjoy some Harry and David vanilla creme brulee. That's right. And I'm drinking more than half a cup because I don't give a damn about the caffeine. Okay. Alright. Yeah, I'll do another video and kind of finish out the day's story. But I'm already at 28 minutes. Sorry about that, folks. Alright. I'm willing to bet your day was better. In any case, make it a great day.